Detained at JFK Airport.
I was scared. Yeah, I was super scared.
Via Raseki, an Iranian PhD student at Stony Brook University, was reunited with family at the airport Sunday after being held because of President Trump's executive order.
I haven't slept for more than 48 hours.
As hundreds protesting that order stood outside of the airport's international terminal. Inside, volunteer lawyers worked attempting to ensure that a federal judge's emergency order to stop deportations is being followed. Some of those attorneys telling CBS 2 that Customs and Border Patrol agents are not complying with the judge's order to provide all detainees' names.
Currently, we're getting no information whatsoever. We don't know how many people are back there. We're not allowed back there.
It's not a Muslim ban, but we were totally prepared. It's working out very nicely. You see it at the airports. You see it all over.
Over the weekend, Mr. Trump defended his stance, which temporarily bans refugees and immigrants from 7 Muslim-majority nations, saying, quote, "This is not about religion, but about terror and keeping the country safe."
Protecting this nation and our people is the #1 priority of this president and our government.
Senate Democrats are vowing to have the president's order repealed.
The shooting happened over this evening, and police can confirm that there are people who died in that mosque, the Quebec Islamic Cultural Center. But as you mentioned as well, they have not confirmed how many people. We do know, though, 5 people are injured. They're in the hospital at this point. And we also know from Quebec City Police that one person, at least one person, has been arrested. The police department there tweeting that this is now under control and that the mosque has actually been evacuated. But of course, still a very fluid motion at this point. We know that the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, he expressed his condolences again through social media, tweeting tonight. Tonight, Canadians grieve for those killed in a cowardly attack on a mosque in Quebec City. My thoughts are with victims and their families. But again, this is something that is still unfolding. We're still learning all this information, but certainly sad to hear, as we do know that people did die in this incident. George?
Bren, there in New York, the NYPD is also on a raised alert given what happened. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, George, this always typically happens when we have incidents like this happen all around the world, whether it be terrorist-related, not terrorist-related, as these investigations are unfolding. So typically the NYPD does take action, and that is what we're seeing here. We know that the NYPD is now paying special attention, is the best way to say it, to mosques in the New York City area, and also sending their heavily trained, highly armed teams, those special teams that they have that go around the city. Those teams are actually also paying particular attention to mosques overnight. Again, this while just keeping a close eye on the investigation, which is fluid at this point.
A motorway pileup in France has left at least 65 people injured, 5 of them in a serious condition. It happened early today on the A13 motorway in the Paris region. 2 buses, an articulated lorry and 4 cars were involved. Dozens of firefighters and medical teams rushed to the scene. The flow of traffic was unable to resume until late in the morning.
Good morning. Well, here in southeast Queensland, they're describing it as a low-intensity heat wave with temperatures in the mid to low 30s expected today. Here in Brisbane, we're heading for a top of 32 degrees, but it's in our state's west that we're going to see those really hot temperatures in excess of 45 degrees in Birdsville and Cunnamulla. And it's a similar story down in New South Wales, where the western suburbs will cop the brunt of this heat wave. Penrith looking at high 30s for the next 5 days. In the CBD, the temperatures should stay down thanks to a cool coastal breeze. But certainly this is going to be a trying time for all our emergency services. Alicia?
This object is traveling pretty fast, and it's really close by to us. It's also going to be very faint. This asteroid is very, very small. It's something around 10 meters or about 30 feet, so I'd put it on the equivalent of something like an orca or a killer whale. And so we're looking for a killer whale floating out in space over 100,000 miles away from us.